Hey guys, what's up? So glad you're here. Today, I was just thinking about overwhelm, that feeling of being overwhelmed. Oh my gosh, I have so much to do. How am I going to do this? What do I do next? And then our brain just goes off in all kinds of crazy ways. Forgive the hair. I just stepped out of the shower. I've been spending the day with my 8-year-old. Uh, Dallas, Texas, it's hot as hell, and we've been playing on the trampoline, and he loves to wrestle on the trampoline. So I worked up quite a sweat, so I needed to get in the shower and get all that stuff off me. But I want to talk about overwhelm and how to get through that, and some simple steps we can take to simplify overwhelm, and also what does it mean, because really being overwhelmed by anything is a symptom of one thing only. There's one thing lacking in our lives, and that's the reason why we feel overwhelmed. So when we can learn to apply this one thing to different areas of our lives, we'll be overwhelmed less often. And when it rears its ugly head, it's not going to be nearly as intense. We can handle it. Okay. And we'll get into that in a minute. But first of all, when I got overwhelmed with anything, which happened often, my reaction was, what do I do? I have so much to do. How am I going to do this? And then I start trying to figure it out or ask people. And by the time I've done that, I've lost all my momentum. And then I just turn around and run like a coward. And someone told me, and I'm very grateful for this, he said, you're never going to win your war when you run from your battles. So I have to face my battles. I have to face that overwhelming sensation if I'm going to grow and move forward and have the life I want for myself and for my children. So let's talk about, there's 6 symptoms of this one thing that leads to overwhelm. Okay, so basically there's 6 symptoms that will lead us to feeling overwhelmed. And all 6 of these come from a place of lack. Okay, it's coming from a place of lack. Number 1, we lack clarity. Okay, clarity is power. Now we're going to go deep on all of these later, but let me just kind of run through the 6 and then we'll jump right into them. Clarity is power. So we've got to have clarity. We've got to have a very strong why for doing what we do. That why has got to be so strong that nothing is going to get in our way and stop us. If any obstacle pops up, we're going over it, under it, around it, or breaking through it. If our why is strong enough and we have that clarity, nothing's going to stop us. Okay. Number 2, lack of deadlines. We've got to give ourselves hard deadlines. Maybe other people aren't giving us a deadline on when something needs to be done, but we've got to give ourselves a deadline on when our shit needs to get done. So we get it done and we work on it and we stay focused and push through. Okay. Number 3, lack of planning. Okay, which kind of ties into deadlines, and they're all one leads to the next. Okay, but a lack of planning. We've got to plan. We've got to plan our day. We've got to plan parts of our day, portions of our day. Planning is important. Okay, the 4th symptom of overwhelm is a lack of focus. Just simply not staying focused, not being 100% dedicated on what we're doing. We're letting other stuff come in and get in our way and distract us. And we got to understand, man, distractions actually make us less intelligent. When we're working, and then we check our phone, then we check our email. Oh, someone's calling. Let me see who this is. Whatever. That actually makes us less intelligent. When we stay focused and we get our stuff done, and we're with a laser focus, we're actually creating stronger brain cells, more connections in our brain, and it makes us more intelligent. Okay, so it actually gets easier over time. But if we continue to let things distract us, we will become distracted even more easily. Our brain gets dumber. I mean, I'm sorry, but really, distractions lead to us becoming dumber. Okay, distractions, dumb. All right. The 5th is a lack of productivity. We're going to get into productivity and what that means and all of that, but a lack of productivity. And then the 6th symptom is a lack of learning from the right people or from our past experiences, our mistakes, right? Okay, so again, let me just go through those real quick. It's all a lack of clarity, a lack of deadline, a lack of planning, a lack of focus, lacking in productivity, and lack of learning, whether from people or our own past experiences. So let's jump into clarity right now, okay? Now, I have to credit Dean Graziosi with this. I've never met the man. He doesn't pay me for anything. But I learned this from him. It's called the 7 Levels Deep exercise, because I said clarity is power. When you have clarity on why you want to do what you do, or why you want to do what you want to do, nothing will stop you, not even being overwhelmed. You will find a way, you will figure it out. So the 7 Levels Deep exercise, Google it if you've never heard of this before. But essentially, you just start with asking yourself, like for my instance, why do I want a successful business? Well, it's important to me to have a successful business so that my kids have more options in their life. They don't have to just take what we can afford. If this is actually going to be better for them, we can get it. We can do it. I can send you to this place, to this camp, to this private lesson teacher, whatever. We don't have to just take what we can afford. Okay? So that was why is it important that my business is successful? So that I have financial security. Why is financial security important? So my kids have more options. Why is it important that my kids have more options? And then you keep going and you keep going. And you ask yourself this question 6, 8, maybe 10 times, however long it takes. What this does is it gets this out of your head and it brings it down into your heart. All right? When you can bring that down into your heart and you can feel that emotions plus thoughts, beliefs, desires, whatever, when you can apply some emotion to that, there's power there. Again, unstoppable power. There will be an unquenchable fire just blazing within you. So you keep going. And for me, I had to go all the way to the 7th level. But I knew once I got to the 7th level, I knew I was done. I had my why. I just kept asking, why is this important? Okay, then I got my answer. Well, why is that answer important? Well, now I answer that question. Why is that important? Again, if you don't quite understand the 7 Levels Deep exercise, Google it. I'm sure you will find it all over the place. Dean Graziosi is the guy who taught that to me. In fact, I think he's kind of no, he's not actually. He was taught that by someone else. So anyway, he didn't come up with it, but he taught it to me. So when you feel that clarity, nothing will stop you. My ultimate why, after I got to the 7th level, now by 5 and 6, I started to feel the shift. But when I got to 7, I knew I had it. And it was so that me and my kids, because again, I set the example for my kids. I influence my kids. So me and my children are living in our fullest potential, serving others. That was my ultimate why. Me and my children, I have 4 amazing kids. Oh my gosh. I mean, I know every parent says that, but yeah, love my kids dearly. Me and my kids are living in our fullest potential, serving others. And you notice I didn't even include anything about money or whatever, because I know if we're doing that, the income will follow. Income follows impact. Always remember that. Income follows self-development, and it also follows the impact you're having on someone else. So anyone who's constantly trying to work on, I'm not trying, doing it, working on themselves to grow and be a better person, and to then take that and have a positive impact in the world, I know the income's going to come. So that was my ultimate why. And let me tell you, man, by the time I got to about 5, I started feeling the tears, just covering my eyes, misting over a bit. But when I got to 7, and once I nailed that, oh my gosh, the floodgates came. I mean, I was crying about all the time I had been wasting. And then I was crying about the excitement of now finally knowing and having that fire. And man, I got up and I got my ass in gear, So again, clarity is power. When you have clarity, nothing will stop you. That's huge. All right. Understand that. Now, the second one is a lack of deadlines. If nobody else is giving you a deadline for something, you need to give yourself a deadline, but make it reasonable. Okay. Give yourself a reasonable deadline. Okay. I think I can do this in 30 minutes. So, as you're planning out your day, set 30 minutes to do blank. Okay. I'm going to give myself however long, 20 minutes, 45 minutes, whatever is reasonable. And I'm only doing this for that whole time. I'm not going to be distracted. I'm staying focused and I'm going to bust my ass and get it done. And if I don't get it done in the deadline that I gave myself, that's okay. I got enough done. I focused. I did my best, but I still didn't get it done. All that matters is that I did everything I could. Move on to the next one. And then you can always come back to that. And if it's something that has to absolutely be done today, there's no options, still move on to the next one and then come back to it when you can. But stick to the plan, which is, again, what we're going to get to anyway. Stick to the plan, stick to the schedule. Even if you didn't get it done, move on to the next thing. And then if you have to, come back to it later that day. Otherwise, save it for tomorrow, right? So have your deadlines. Reasonable, appropriate deadlines. Give yourself some grace, all right? The next thing, again, is planning, all right? Overwhelm can be caused from a lack of planning. Now, here's the thing. I was taught to plan my plan, spend more time planning my plan than it takes to execute the plan. Because if I really have my plan down and I've got it, it's everything is nailed down right in the proper place, the deadlines are appropriate, everything is there, then the plan's going to go more smoothly. I'm going to be more productive, and I'm going to have a much more fulfilling, rewarding day. At the end of the day, I'm going to sit back with that feeling of fulfillment. All right? So plan your plans. Really think about the plans. Know what you're going to do, and knowing what you need to do also tells you what you don't need to do. Sometimes it's okay to make a not to do list. Sometimes that's necessary. If you need to make a not to do list, do it. But make yourself a plan. Again, spend time planning your plan and be very proactive about all of it. All right. Then the next one, lack of focus. Lack of focus leads to overwhelm. We've got to eliminate distractions. Social media, email, the phone. I turn my phone off multiple times throughout the day and leave it off. It's off right now. I don't want it ringing while I'm talking to you. Okay? People, all right? Don't let people interrupt you unless it's a severe emergency, right? Here's how I used to think. I used to think that a good dad is always available for his children, even when he's working, because I always have had jobs, careers, businesses where I could be available throughout the day if I really wanted to, right? And I used to think that was being a good dad. I'm always available for my children, even if they just want to walk on in and give me a hug and sit on my lap for a minute, okay? Then I realized something. I let my kids disrupt me because I love them. Then I don't achieve what I want to achieve, which means I don't create the life I want to create. It's not just for me, because this affects them too. So I'm not being able to create the life I want for me and my children. And then I get then I get frustrated. And I also have financial issues because I'm not getting my shit done when it needs to be done, right? I mean, it just leads to all kinds of other things. So I had to realize if I really love my kids, I'm going to have dedicated time where there are no disruptions. Hey, guys, I love you, but I'm not available until 5 o'clock. After 5 o'clock, I'm all yours. But do not disrupt me right now until 5 o'clock. When I come out of my office, I'm all yours 100%. But you better not disrupt me unless somebody's bleeding or dying. And I mean that literally, right? They know that. They know my time is dedicated and there are no disruptions. Now, I'm not leaving my 8-year-old just running around the house unsupervised. That's not what I'm talking about. But I don't let disruptions come into my dedicated work time, all right? I'm focused, laser focused, and I'm determined to get it done. The decision's already made up here. I've got the planning done. I've got an appropriate deadline. I have clarity on what I want to do and why I want to do it, and I'm going to get it done. Or I'm going to bust my ass and do the best I can. And if I have to come back later and finish it, then I will. But my dedicated work time is not negotiable. Okay, now the fifth symptom, sorry, I'm having a brain moment here. The fifth symptom is simply a lack of productivity. And here's what I mean when I say that. Are you being productive or are you simply being busy? Because they're not the same thing. Busy and productive are not the same thing. Now, yeah, when you're productive, you're probably busy, but busy doesn't necessarily mean you're productive. Okay? Got to understand that. Most of y'all know the 80-20 rule. You've heard of it because it applies to virtually everything in the world, right? Okay, it applies to career, business, whatever. 20% of the work you need to do is actually going to accomplish 80% of the results you want. 20% of the work is going to accomplish 80% of the results. So, what do we need to focus on? That 20%. That's where our focus goes. That's where our planning and our deadlines come into play, okay? We call that 20% massive action. So, every day, focus on that 20%, that massive action. Do what matters and do the uncomfortable action first. Do the shit you don't want to do first, because then the rest is icing on the cake. Take the uncomfortable action first. Do what matters. Focus on massive action. 20% of your work is going to get you 80% of the results. All right. And then the last one is simply a lack of learning from the right people, learning from our experiences, our mistakes, so forth and so on. We need a role model. You need a role model. And this doesn't necessarily have to be someone that you know personally, that you sit and talk to, right? Okay. My role model has never met me, may not even know I exist, but he's my role model because he has the kind of life I want. He's the kind of husband I want to be, and he's the type of father I want to be. And I know even in his personal life, he's still the man that he appears to be in public. When he comes out in public, he's not blowing smoke up anybody's ass. He's authentic, he's sincere, and he's the same guy in public as he is behind the scenes with his family. He's the type of man I want to be. That's my role model. And that's the type of role model you need to find. That man, woman, whomever, that is doing what you want to do, being who you want to be, so that you can imitate them and be like them. But of course, bring in your own personality, bring your own personal flair into it, but you want to be them. I mean, I want to be this guy, but with my own personal style, right? And then another thing we need to do is I learned that proximity is power. Proximity with the right people is power. I surround myself with people who are doing what I want to do, being who I want to be, but they're doing it better than I am. Okay. So I have my role model who probably doesn't even know who I am. But then I also have people in my life who are like my role model, right? They're doing what I want to do. They're the father, the husband, just the businessman, the person, the authentic, sincere, loving, compassionate, grateful individual that I want to be. I want to be like them. And I surround myself with those people. And again, these people are doing it better than I am. Create some healthy competition. And again, healthy competition. Okay. So get you a role model, surround yourself with people who are doing what you want to do, only better. Proximity is power, but also learn from your mistakes. Learn from your past experiences. I mean, I tell my kids all the time, when they make mistakes, I don't get frustrated because of the mistake. I get frustrated when I sit down and say, okay, so what'd you learn about this? And they just look at me and say, oh, no. That's what frustrates me, all right? The mistake itself is okay. We all make them. But when you're not willing to look at it and learn, that's where I get irritated with my kids. So look at your past experiences. What can you do to make it better? What needs to be tweaked? But don't beat yourself up over it. Learn from it. Fix what you can and go again. And you know what? Even if you fall down again, at least you're falling forward. Keep falling forward. Eventually, you'll be running forward. As long as you just keep going, don't stop, okay? So, overwhelm, to simplify it, can be traced back to 6 symptoms of one thing lacking in your life. These symptoms are a lack of clarity, a lack of deadlines, a lack of planning, lack of focus, lack of productivity. Again, are you busy or are you productive? And then a lack of simply learning from the right people and from your past mistakes, your experiences. All 6 of these things are a result of a lack of self discipline. Self discipline can be applied to all 6 of these areas and make it work better. So, what you need to do, what I do, is I look over these 6 symptoms. Which ones are appropriate in my situation? And sometimes it may be multiple, sometimes it may be all 6. Okay. But which one of these symptoms do I need to apply more self discipline? Where is discipline lacking? And then I apply that self discipline. What habits that are not serving me or may even be destructive do I need to replace with appropriate habits that are going to get me where I want to go? All right. So look at all of that. Where can you apply self discipline so that you can overcome that overwhelm? Just make it so that it's so small it doesn't even matter. Or even if you have to, you just burst right through it and get over it. But that's really what overwhelm is. It's a result of those 6 symptoms, and all 6 of those are a result of self discipline in your life. Where do you need to apply more self discipline? And that's only a question that you can answer, and you've got to be totally honest with yourself. Get honest with yourself. Do what needs to be done. Apply self discipline where you can, wherever it's lacking. And I'm telling you, your life is going to get exponentially better. You're not going to get overwhelmed so often. And when you do, it's not going to seem like that insurmountable mountain anymore. It's going to be just a little anthill, and you can get over it however you need to get over it. But guys, I want to thank you so much. If you got anything out of this video, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop some comments, man. What do you do when you get overwhelmed? How do you handle overwhelm? Or maybe you used to be like me and turn around and run your ass the other direction, and now you figured out another way to handle it in a healthy way. How do you handle overwhelm in a healthy way? Help us all out. The more answers we can get on that, the better, because maybe some of these don't help someone else, but you might be able to help someone else. So what do you do when overwhelm rears its ugly head and you're scared to death, but again, you're not going to win any wars by running from your battles. So anyway, thank you guys again. I love you. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Have a beautiful day.